A world confronting the rising dangers of social media. With governments moving fast to protect children, as sweeping age bans redraw online boundaries, and tech giants brace for global accountability. We ask the most important question: will these bans truly ever work?
Hello, you're watching another episode of Xplained with me, Asuma Kataoka. In a world where every swipe, scroll, and notification competes for attention, social media has become quite inseparable from young people's lives. Behind the endless likes and seemingly harmless viral trends, however, a serious crisis is unfolding, one which is affecting mental health, reshaping behavior, and drawing teens into cycles of comparison, anxiety, and relentless digital dependence. Across continents, parents, teachers, and doctors are raising the alarm. They have been consistently complaining that excessive screen time disrupts their children's sleep, fuels body image pressures, and creates addiction-like patterns. For some, it also potentially opens the door to cyberbullying, harassment, and dangerous online challenges. But governments across the world are now stepping in, from age restrictions to safety guidelines and outright bans in schools. Nations are acting to protect their young users, and one of the strongest moves is coming from France. In this episode of Explained, we talk about that and also about what other countries like Australia, Indonesia, and Malaysia are doing about their social media regulations. Now we start with France, which is preparing for a significant shift in its schools. President Emmanuel Macron has signaled that the mobile phone ban, which is currently in effect for primary and middle schools, may extend to all secondary schools next academic year. This comes as officials reported that the initial ban has reduced distractions and improved classroom focus. Now, Macron's recent announcement is not all about discipline, it's also a little personal. In an exchange with regional newspaper readers yesterday, Macron acknowledged that he came across multiple cases where he found AI-manipulated images getting used to target minors online, noting that he and his family had faced similar abuse earlier. Let's now listen in to President Macron as he explains why France is tightening youth access to the smartphones.
On a sorti le portable du collège maintenant dans tous les collèges à la rentrée dernière, qu'on va sans doute l'élargir au lycée à la rentrée prochaine avec le ministre, il est en train de regarder ça. Et on prévient maintenant, on engage avec les parents sur ces sujets dans les réunions parents-profs, et on va lancer une grande campagne nationale de communication et de prévention à l'égard des parents. Mais les parents, si on veut les engager, il faut pouvoir leur dire ce qu'est un consensus scientifique, c'est celui que je vous donne, et il faut leur dire vous avez un rôle à jouer parce qu'aussi on vous donne.
Additionally, Macron has highlighted France's broader strategy, which is to keep children under 15 off of social media and improve digital literacy to reduce addiction. He has also stressed that the previous nationwide phone ban in secondary schools was successfully implemented, and this further motivates him to extend wider plans for next year. The education minister is currently reviewing the phone ban legislation for high schools. While Macron focuses on schools, a national debate is brewing simultaneously about minors and their social media use. As of now, France does not have a blanket social media ban, but rules for minors are tightening. But millions of public employees face restrictions on recreational apps on their work phones, citing reasons for cybersecurity, while there is also a 2023 law which requires parental consent and age verification for anyone under 15 years old to sign up for a social media account. Schools too heavily limit phone use among children, but lately this debate has escalated further. In the picture now is a parliamentary commission which has conducted extensive investigation on TikTok's impact on minors and produced about 43 proposals. Let me quickly list out the three most crucial ones. First, a full ban on social media for children under 15. Second, talks about nighttime digital curfews for 15 to 18-year-olds. And third, proposes a potential penalties for digital negligence on the end of parents. The report has also linked harmful content, addictive algorithms, and distressing patterns to real tragedies, bringing to notice online streams that apparently romanticize depression or self-harm. As far as the tech giants are concerned, especially TikTok, there have been reports that it has pushed back against the report's characterization of its platform and also defended its safety features. But the Commission was not satisfied, and it concluded that protections are insufficient, particularly for vulnerable teens. However, French teens remain divided on these new phone restrictions. Some are saying that full phone bans may be a little too excessive, arguing that secondary school is a stage where young people learn responsibility, and phones, when used appropriately, can help with quick parent communication or do simple tasks during breaks. Others welcome these phone limits during class or breaks, noting that they allow space for having social interactions with friends and also taking a break from digital pressures. Let's listen in to what some teens have shared.
Respecter, mais je pense qu'au lycée, on peut commencer à apprendre à respecter les règles et à savoir utiliser son téléphone comme il le faut. On n'a pas le droit en cours, on n'a pas le droit à la cantine, mais après, des fois, dans les couloirs, dans la récré, en permanence, des fois, c'est un outil de travail, des fois, c'est vraiment utile de pouvoir utiliser son téléphone, même pour contacter ses parents ou autre chose.
Par exemple, nous, ils nous ont interdit le téléphone sur les temps de cantine. Je trouve que c'était une bonne idée pour le coup. Ça permet de se rapprocher de ses amis, de plus discuter avec eux, puis ouais, de s'éloigner un petit peu des réseaux, etc. J'ai trouvé ça plutôt bien. Après, sur toute la journée, peut-être pas. Je pense aussi aux personnes qui sont seules, qui ont peut-être besoin de s'évader autrement que d'être tout seul sans leur téléphone la journée.
Que c'est une fausse bonne idée parce que oui, au premier abord, on peut croire que ça peut faire en sorte de pouvoir rapprocher les élèves, etc. Mais en fait, quand on se rend compte qu'on ne les utilise pas trop, etc., bah...
Before we proceed, please note that the teens interviewed are underage and hence their identities are protected. Now, as France debates on social media laws, Europe watches and proceeds to take some broad steps. Just last week, the European Parliament has called for EU-wide minimum age rules, recommending 3 principal measures. First is a ban on social media for children under 13. Second is about a parental consent for children under 16. And thirdly, the EU appealed for an age-appropriate design for social media platforms. Although non-binding, the resolution reflects concerns over unregulated influence from US and Chinese tech giants that ultimately materialize into addictive algorithms and cyberbullying. Meanwhile, other countries are moving independently. We have Denmark, which is considering a social media ban for kids under the age of 15. Then there is Spain, which is working on a draft law that upon implementation would require children under the age of 16 to first obtain parental consent before accessing social media and other platforms. Moreover, the UK is mulling fines for even jail or executives who fail to block harmful content online. Now, as developments unfold across Europe, we would like to take you back to France for a while, more to understand how the parents in Paris are weighing the risks and benefits of French President Emmanuel Macron's new rigorous phone ban. Some worry that total bans can leave teens unprepared for later, showing a preference for oversight and content filtering. But others also talk about tragedies linked to online content as reasons for stricter rules. Let's listen in.
Je pense qu'interdire, c'est peut-être un peu dur, un peu fort. Il faut réguler, il faut trouver des voies et moyens peut-être pour limiter les accès, peut-être plutôt limiter aussi le temps, travailler aussi sur la responsabilité des parents, parce que mine de rien, on peut décider tout là-haut d'un certain nombre de choses, mais il ne faut surtout pas exempter les parents de leurs responsabilités par rapport à la protection de leurs propres enfants.
Moi, j'ai 3 grands-enfants qui sont un peu plus âgés. Ils ont connu le début des réseaux sociaux. Je ne pense pas qu'ils en aient souffert. Par contre, c'est clair que ce qu'il faut interdire, c'est la haine sur les réseaux sociaux. Ça, c'est clair. J'ai toujours un problème avec l'interdiction totale d'accès aux réseaux sociaux parce que c'est aussi une façon de s'éduquer. Ma fille, par exemple, a découvert beaucoup de livres de littérature grâce aux réseaux sociaux, donc c'est pas que négatif. Maintenant, un drame à cause des réseaux sociaux, c'est un drame de trop.
Now, in response to rising scrutiny, TikTok has added 60-minute daily limits for anyone under the age of 18 and prompts to log off after 10 p.m. Furthermore, France's National Assembly is reviewing additional safety proposals, including stricter oversight of content monetization. The move follows renewed concern after a 46-year-old Frenchman, Raphael Gravin, died during a live stream on the platform Kickback in August. But these proposals have not come out of blue. They have been built on earlier steps. After a school stabbing shocked the country earlier in June, French President Emmanuel Macron strongly appealed for an EU-wide social media ban for everyone under the age of 15, warning that online platforms were shaping youth behavior in dangerous ways. France later passed a law requiring platforms to verify user ages and obtain parental consent for all under the age of 15. Studies showing that children as young as 8 were opening accounts undetected bolsters the need for this law. Its rules apply to TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and other major platforms. Its implementation, however, is underway. Under this law, platforms must deploy approved age verification tools, allow parents to suspend accounts, and introduce time limit controls. Violations can trigger fines of up to 1% of the app's global revenue. France's tightening rules combined with wider European debates have made children's online safety one of this year's defining digital policy issues. Europe is still assessing its next moves, but Australia, on the other hand, has already acted. From the 10th of December next month, platforms will be required to block all new accounts from users under the age of 16. Existing accounts belonging to under the age of 16-year-olds must also be closed. The Australian government says that the ban responds to risks created by addictive platform design and malicious online content. As per national study, 96% of children aged 10 to 15 use social media, where 7 in 10 have already seen harmful material, while 1 in 7 reported grooming attempts, and more than half faced cyberbullying. The rules cover platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Threads, TikTok, X, YouTube, Reddit, Kick, Twitch, and more, plus gaming platforms such as Roblox and Discord have introduced age checks. Interesting point to note, fines of up to $49.5 million target social media platforms, and not children or parents. Verification procedures may involve government IDs, facial or voice recognition, or AI-based age inference. In a result, Meta will begin closing teen accounts from the 4th of December next week. Snapchat will also start verifying through ID or selfie scans, but several other platforms have not yet detailed their compliance plans. Now, experts elucidate accuracy gaps in age verification technology and warn that strict bans may drive young users to less regulated spaces or AI-based chat platforms. If you pay close attention, age verification also raises major privacy concerns. That's why the government now says that platforms must offer strong safeguards and alternatives to government IDs. All these developments come as a direct result of the rolling out of the Online Safety Amendment, which is also known as the Social Media Minimum Age Bill. The bill was the 28th of November last year, and that it sets a strict minimum age of 16 that parents cannot override. Let's now listen in to what the Australian Prime Minister has shared.
Social media is doing harm to our children. And today, as a direct result of our legislation passed through the Parliament yesterday, through the Senate, and confirmed in the House today, parents can have a different discussion with their young ones. A different discussion that will result in better outcomes and less.
But technical challenges, privacy concerns, and circumvention risks dominate Meta and Google, are challenging parts of the law. Snapchat and TikTok oppose aspects but intend to comply. Meanwhile, Kik has introduced additional safeguards. Social media analysts say that many young users have already come up with ideas to bypass restrictions using fake ages, alternative apps, shared accounts, or VPNs. But the global ripple continues. Malaysia plans to ban anyone under 16 from social media in 2026. Communications worldwide, governments are ratcheting up platform regulations from Europe's Digital Services Act to Asia's fast-moving age restrictions. The enforcements are being drawn at an accelerated pace. The stakes are clear. Children remain the most vulnerable population online, but platforms built for engagement exposes them to cyberbullying, manipulative design, financial scams, and predatory content. As more countries introduce sweeping restrictions, one question now defines the global debate. Will these measures genuinely protect young users or push them deeper into unregulated corners of the internet? And it is a test that governments, platforms, and parents cannot afford to ignore, because the risks for young users have never been greater.